Hello! Welcome back to Star Wars Minute. It's the daily podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and celebrate the Star Wars movies 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
I'm Alex Robinson from AlexRobinson.fun.
And it's just us this week. We are doing the credits all by ourselves. Thanks to last week's guests. We saw them out. They helped us kind of wade into the credits pool. But now it's just us. We're doing it by ourselves. Starting with minute 136. 136. 136 of course, I should mention, it is minute 136 of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. 136 starts with supervising sound editors. And it ends with art department assistants.
Art department assistant.
Art department assistants. And I should, since we have them up on the screen, supervising sound editors include one Matthew Wood, General Grievous himself.
Yeah.
So.
Well, are you going to be, the tradition has it that you will be alerting us to all the Pete's involved in the production. Will you continue that tradition this year?
The people have been clamoring for it, so I will bring it back. So far, there have been none in the the end of last week's credits. No Pete's yet, but good news. We have some here. Should I do them now? I'll hang on to them for a little bit. Let's talk about the credits.
Okay.
That we have. Besides the supervising sound editors, we get the actual kind of cast, the rolling cast, as it were. And so let's make note again. We talked about it briefly last week, but let's make note of the order. Leia, Luke, Kylo Ren, Rey, Finn, Poe. And no Han Solo, of course, no Harrison Ford.
Yes.
But Leia, Luke, Kylo Ren, Rey, Finn, Poe. And we're all okay with that, right? That seems
about right.
Makes sense. There's no. I mean, Rey being below Kylo Ren makes Hollywood sense, but not so much within the scope of the movie.
Right.
Mark Hamill always got billed first in the original trilogy, right?
I'm not sure. I was wondering if Harrison Ford, I'm going to say Mark Hamill was always there because I don't feel like Harrison Ford really ascended until Star Wars was kind of like wrapping up. Like for Empire, he wasn't like a big star yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
but for, Return of the Jedi, like Indiana Jones had already happened.
Yeah, that's
one or two other things at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could be. Also, but the original trilogy was the credits were farther from Hollywood. Mangling.
Yeah. Also, it was probably a relatively simpler time back then in terms of
It's like, okay, here are the credits assignments. You get what you get.
Yeah.
Also wanted to point out R2-D2, played by Hassan Taj.
He's the person in the costume, but there's also someone who operates the Lee Towersy operates it when it's strictly a robot. So I was surprised they still use a person in the can. I guess it's easier to do those little.
I guess so.
But also R2-D2 is barely in it. I don't even think he moves in the film. So it's weird. Yeah. But good job, guys.
Well, and it's interesting that he gets R2-D2, just credit R2-D2, Hassan Taj. And then, is this who you said and Lee Towersy?
Lee Towersy?
Towersy?
Yeah.
And gets those two, but then also gets BB-8 and D-O get performed by. So I guess because there's not a person inside, they're not big enough to have a person inside, then they don't get just like BB-8 is so-and-so. They just get performed by.
Yeah. Because I guess technically it's a puppet, not a costume.
Right. So we're calling R2-D2 a costume now? He just makes the cut?
Yeah. I guess there's a person in, I don't know. It's tough. Is Jabba a costume? Or is Jabba a puppet? Who can say?
Yeah.
If you control it from the outside, it's a puppet. If you control it from the inside, it's a costume. How about that? So Sweetums is a costume.
Right.
Grover is a puppet,
Right.
a Muppet.
A very specific type of puppet.
Yes, exactly.
Um,
Yes, this is where we get J.J. Abrams being credited as the voice of Dio.
yes.
And thinking about it, if I was J.J. Abrams, I think I would have come up with a fake name for myself for the credit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems more of a... And that makes it more of like an Easter egg type thing, because then someone would eventually go, oh my God, did you know that's J.J. Abrams? That's just his name Tuckerized or whatever. So as we're about to see, another actor, similar thing. And so if it's good enough for him, it should be good enough for J.J.
Much classier or more in tune with the Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
Yes, to have Boolio himself.
Mm-hmm.
There's the body of Boolio and Boolio voice, Patrick Williams. And you may think, wait a minute, I remember way back at the beginning of this season, you guys said that voice was really Mark Hamill.
We were wrong. Tell your sister you were right.
Yeah, you were right. But it is Mark Hamill under the pseudonym Patrick Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Williams. And that is apparently a conglomeration of two of his brothers' names.
Yes.
That's what Mark Hamill has a Patrick and a William.
Yes.
And
interestingly, he is also credited in other things as William M. Patrick. So he's
Mark.
He's
M for Mark.
Yeah, I guess so. So he actually goes by both names. So
there's an old Alexi Sale bit about why do some people have two first names and some people have two last names. Some people only have one name.
Yeah.
And one of the punchlines is Meryl Streep has no name to speak of. And so he does a reassociation. Harrison Ford has to give up one of his names because he's got two last names.
You just put them all in a pile and redistribute them so everyone gets the first.
Paul Simon has two first names. We got to go, and some of them, and then Sting and Cher each get a name, or Sade, I think.
I guess two last names is always cooler, right?
Could be.
I'm trying to think of a person who, I mean, I guess unless it's something like Snooty, like Bennington,
Snooty Bennington.
He played sax, didn't he? In the but someone named like Bennington Wortherford sounds like a rich jerk. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
right.
Not all last names work.
I did that. One year when I worked at a summer camp. And I was looking at the list of kids before they showed up, and I was like, that kid is going to be, it was a name kind of like that. And I was like, that kid is going to be the rich kind of, obnoxious, snobby jerk. And they were not at all.
Oh, that's nice.
No.
He didn't get his comeuppance in the end?
No, he was kind of almost the opposite. I was like, all right, I was wrong about him.
Yeah, I guess that's the risk of giving a name that's points to something, because if they're not that thing, it only makes it,
right.
Like Spike Jones, for instance. If you name your kid Spike, then the kid has to be tough
and pointy.
Yes.
We also
can I say something else about Mark Hamill before we move on?
Oh, this is in Star Wars Minute. You can always say something about Mark Hamill, no matter what's going
on. He apparently did an interview where he revealed that he has done a voice in every single Star Wars.
Okay. Oh, not including the prequels?
It's funny. The prequels are not listed here, so maybe not the prequels, but maybe it's anyway. Do you want me to tell you all the names? Or you want to guess some of the appearances?
Well, I'm assuming these are besides Luke Skywalker. We're not talking about Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker is number one, correct.
Okay. I feel like he was an intercom voice in one thing. Was it Hoth?
Oh, and Hoth.
I don't know.
Well, he's in that already, so he doesn't.
Oh, he's not doing double duty yet.
No. Yeah, these are all strictly voice appearances.
Yeah, I thought he was an intercom voice in Hoth, but I could be wrong. All right, hit me.
Apparently, he voiced Darth Bane in the Clone Wars cartoons. We're not counting that. Sure. Boolio.
I've heard of him.
If you recall, in The Last Jedi, You remember him as the little alien with the coins?
Oh, right.
At the casino, shooting out a BB-8. In an episode of The Mandalorian, he was the voice of EV-99. That would have been episode 5 of Mandalorian. And kind of cheating, he provides additional voices. I'm putting that in air quotes if you're not watching the video, which you should be, for Solo and Rogue One. So that's fun, at least. Right?
Yeah, I thought he was, like, I'm trying to look up now.
It's possible I didn't write down his
hang on. I'm scrolling through a thing. It's just making me like agree to some kind of privacy agreement.
Signing up for an account.
Yeah. But yes, let's see. Boop boop. Yeah, I thought there was a yeah, I don't know. I thought there was another one where he was like an intercom voice in. Oh yeah, there are some fans. He can be heard speaking over the intercom of the iconic Yavin base.
Oh, Yavin
in Rogue One.
Huh.
So, although somebody else suggested that he voiced Bor Gullet, which is odd.
I think we would have heard of that if that was true.
Yeah.
If he was like an identifiable character, it would have been more of a.
Oh yeah, and this. Let's see. He's one of the Cloud Riders in Solo: A Star Wars Story.
Oh, okay.
So
he went from a Skywalker to a Cloud Rider. So moving on. What else we got non-Mark Hamill related?
Well, it's a close one letter off from being somebody we know here. There's a credit for a character named Lieutenant Draper. I don't know who they are. Lieutenant Draper, played by Allison Rose. One letter off from being former guest of the show. Allison Rosen. And also, speaking of additional voices, this one, I don't remember this one coming up before. Additional voices, Reggie Watts.
I was one of the people I was going to say.
Yeah.
Do
you know anything about how that came about?
I do not. It's these additional voices. It's really hard to. It could be anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it could be the kind of thing that it's just like, well, we needed some crowd noises, background grumbling, and wanted to jump in here.
Yeah, Carl Urban also credited as a Carl Urban, Reggie Watts, Deborah Wilson from Mad TV, Sam Witwer, and of course Matthew Wood, all credited with additional voices.
Oh, look at this.
Well,
apparently Reggie Watts was the voice of Lando in disguise. Surprise, surprise,
diamonds?
It's Lando in disguise.
With diamonds? Huh, I didn't even remember him having a different voice.
It's when Lando's wearing the mask when they first see him, and he's like, come on, step inside. Like, apparently that's Reggie Watts.
Why? Anyway.
You got me.
Anyway, glad he's getting, I like Reggie Watts, so I'm glad he's getting some credits. Yeah.
So, interesting connections there.
Another voice artist who appears, Ashley Eckstein, as the voice. Eckstein, which one is it? I forget. But anyway, she is of course the voice of Ahsoka Tano, and I'm wondering if at one point they're going to do a Tamara Morrison thing and redub all of. I guess she doesn't appear in that many live action things. If they'll redub, it with Chris Rosario Dawson's voice.
Or vice versa. Maybe they'll go back and redub. They'll have Ashley Eckstein ADR all of Rosario's lines from
probably like
Ahsoka.
that better.
Yeah.
Of course, Danny Harrison, credited as FN80878. Danny Harrison, of course, the son of the Beatle George Harrison. And, we tease the Nepo babies and friends of the director a lot, but I'm not going to lie. Of course, if some person was hey, you want to do a little cameo? I would, trample over someone to do it. So please put me in a Star Wars, is what I'm saying. I was surprised to see Andy Serkis gets a credit as Snoke.
because he was every voice you've ever heard inside your head the whole time, whatever.
Oh, so he's just that one little tiny.
Yeah.
I thought he had to sit in a vat of goo to be the failed snow clones that were in there. But yes, I forgot he does a voice in the.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm assuming that because Vader is listed too, right? James Earl Jones is Darth Vader.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. Probably.
I think so. Yeah, because it's that same kind of
I'm every voice. I'm every voice.
I'm every voice.
I'm every woman. Speaking of women, 2 credits for young Rey. Josephine Jackson and Kaylee Fleming. And here's what I think is happening here, because Josephine Jackson was the this is her only film credit.
Okay.
Kaylee Fleming played young Rey in The Force Awakens. So I'm guessing they used some footage of her from that and then mixed it with footage of this new girl. Kaylee Fleming, the young Rey there, she was in Loki and Walking Dead, and she was on the television program One Mississippi, where she played young Tig Notaro. So it's funny to remember one actress played young Rey Skywalker and young Tig Notaro. I couldn't, a lot of jumble in my mouth, those words. So good job by those child actors. So
yeah. I don't have any more credit other than my Pete's. So do you have any other credits before I break into that?
I don't have any credits, but I thought this week I would maybe initiate some, after you do your Pete thing, I have a quiz for you.
Oh,
so
that's nice.
I'm trying to do a little bit of trivia for each day of the week. We'll see if I manage to pull it off. But take us away, Pete.
Like, what is your social security number? What is your? Yes, we got a couple of Pete's. We had none, and now we're ramping it up here. Stunt performers. One of them is Pete Ford. Wonder Harrison Ford's if he's related.
Stunt double.
Could be. Maybe it's like a nephew or something. He's like, you know what?
A nephew he doesn't like. It's a nephew he likes to see be injured and with ice packs.
Why don't you go in there and jump off that thing? Fall off that bridge. Stunt riggers. And here's the mashup that we never knew existed. Peter Robinson.
Oh, wow.
There we go. Check boxes for both of us there.
The singularity has been achieved.
Stunt rigger, Peter Robinson.
Come on the show, Peter. I'm picturing it being like that Fozzie Kermit abomination from the Muppet to Take Manhattan. Muppet Caper.
Great Muppet Caper, yeah.
I apologize for all the Muppet heads out there.
Creature and droid puppeteers. Speaking of Muppets, got 2 of them. Peter Liddell and Pete Hawkins.
Pete Hawkins. That's a good nickname. Not a nickname, but a good name. Hawkins.
Yeah. Strong.
Yeah.
They're creature and droid puppeteers, those 2. So, creature and droid. So again, going back to puppets, when is it a puppet? When is it a costume?
When they say droid puppeteers, do you think those are puppeteers who move the droids, or those droids who move puppets?
Droids with puppets.
AI is eventually going to replace all those puppeteers with.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're puppeting the droids. They're any ones that are kind of that have moving parts that aren't just strictly a remote control car. That have moving parts. I'm trying to think of who in this movie that could be, but
yeah. There's a bunch of droids at the Rebel base. I know.
Yeah,
maybe that's it.
Here's one. Standby art director. Fire. No, standby art director, Peter James.
Oh, I thought his name was Fire. That would be a cool name.
That would be.
Peter James, PJ.
Peter James, standby art director. Do you think he's just on call? Like he's like understudy art director, where it's just like
he's always hoping that the regular art director is going to like break his leg or something.
Or not. He's just sitting there reading a book the whole time, being like, "Oh, I hope they don't need me today."
I hate directing art.
And then assistant art director, There's a handful. And one of them is Petra Baloch.
Baloch.
The natives call him Baloch. Balogh.
Huh.
Baloch.
Balof.
Petra, and I'm including a Petra in here because it is the same. It is the same root. It is the same meaning.
Yeah.
So Petra, you count. Welcome to the council, the Intercontinental Union. But yeah, those are, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 Pete's in the club this week. So
Six
Went from-
Pete's.
had nothing all last week, and now we got some.
There's a bounty of Pete's.
Mm-hmm. So yes, thanks to all the Pete's out there.
Yes,
Now-
you did a good job.
I hear you have a quiz loaded up.
I did. This first one is a quote quiz. It's fairly straightforward. I'm going to read you a Star Wars quote, and you tell me who said it and where. Not where, like which film. You know,
Okay.
I imagine it's not going to. Anyway, starting off, here we go. Sometimes we must let go of our pride and do what is requested of us.
That was Alex Robinson in minute 136 of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, in Star Wars Minute.
Correct. Yeah. Sometimes we must let go of our pride and do what is requested of us.
Must let go of our pride, do what is requested of us. Is that, I know you're trying to sell me on Obi-Wan.
Well, distract
But
you.
is that a smoke screen? Is it a Qui-Gon?
No, it is not Qui-Gon.
Okay. Is it Obi-Wan?
It is not Obi-Wan. You're getting warmer.
Is it Anakin?
It is Anakin Skywalker. It's Attack of the Clones. I don't remember who he's saying it to. Maybe it's probably when he's trying to convince Padme that fascism is a good a good thing. Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to love. Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to love.
You fear to love. Is that Luke talking to Rey?
I like all these things are very vague. Like it could be any number of Jedi.
Is it Sheev?
No, that is a good one though. Opposite of Sheev, it is of course Yoda. Yoda. I think that's when it's Revenge of the Sith. I think that's when Annie goes to him and he's like, "Oh, I don't know what to do." And then Yoda's just like, "No attachments. You'll be fine."
Right.
Congratulations, you are being rescued.
I believe.
Congratulations, you are being rescued.
I believe that's our friend K2SO.
Correct. Yes, in Rouge One. I hope he shows up in. Those of you in the future, we are currently between or season 1 and a theoretical season 2. Hopefully, K2SO shows up in there. Hopefully, there is a season 2 and K2SO shows up in it. Let go of your hate. Is that too generic?
Let go of your hate. Is that a Sheev? No, he wants your hate. He wants you to hold.
Yeah.
To chew on your hate.
Pull on your hate.
Right. Pull my hate. Obi-Wan?
I have Luke down.
Oh, is he talking to Rey?
I wrote down Luke from ROTL. So,
right.
Your guess is as good as mine, folks. It could be Return of the Jedi. It could be Rise. It could be the Rise of the Last Jedi. Anyway.
Could be Raisins are the Lord. Yeah, Raisins or the
Raisins
Lord. You have to choose. Raisins of the Lord. There you go.
That was my favorite scene in The Matrix, where he's like, in this hand, I have raisins. In this hand,
I am the Lord.
The Lord. Last one. Strike me down in anger, and I'll always be with you, just like your father.
Did that just happen? Is that in this one? Is that Sheev talking to? No.
Strike me down in anger, and I'll always be with you, just like your father.
Was that Ghost Luke hologram Luke talking to Kylo Ren?
That is correct. It is Luke.
Oh, there you go.
Trying to reason with Kylo Ren, a fool's errand. So it's interesting that he says he'll always be with you, just like your father. And then, of course, Han shows up as a ghost in the next movie. So,
yeah, foreshadowing.
Yeah, that was totally planned from the start.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they ever thought about that. Like, they killed Han Solo off.
Mm-hmm.
At any point were they like, okay, we'll bring him back in the last movie? Like, was this always planned, or was it just once Carrie Fisher was out, they needed to kind of have someone do something dramatic for him?
Assuming it was the latter, but it could be. I don't know. It could have always been in there.
Yeah. Because I guess I would never, if I was making Force Awakens, I would never assume that Harrison Ford will want to come back in the future,
Yeah.
Unless, something terrible happens. And
well, Alden Ehrenreich, stand by Han Solo.
they age him up.
He's just reading a book in the back, being like, he might not show up.
All right. That's all I got for minute 136. We'll have more trivia tomorrow, so everyone should study up.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's all I had. Yeah, this is going to be all credit, so expect a week kind of like this. We got some Pete's, we got some trivia, stuff like that coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So hopefully you're enjoying it. Stick with us. Once again, if you want to find us on social media, theoretically we're still out there. Star Wars Minute or The Star Wars Minute, depending. And we post stuff on there. StarWarsMinute.com/Facebook. It gets you through to the Star Wars Minute Listeners Society on Facebook. There's a bunch of good people there. And then if you want an exclusive hotline to actually talk with us about stuff, you got to sign up for the Patreon. We have a Discord where we talk about episodes pretty much every day. There's a discussion of the previous day's episodes, including the weekend shows and all that. So good spot to hang out. StarWarsMinute.com/Patreon for that. And we'll see you back here tomorrow for a brand new Star Wars Minute.